What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the show, folks. The weekly closes just came in across the board, and you're not going to believe what just happened on these charts. The signal we've been waiting for months, it just hit, and it is all lining up perfectly with something massive brewing behind the scenes. I'm talking ETFs, government deals, and a price setup that looks almost scripted. It's like they've been waiting for this exact moment. I'm going to show you why what just happened could trigger one of the biggest crypto breakouts that we've ever seen, and why Bitcoin and XRP are about to melt faces again. So without further ado, sit back, relax, let's get into it. Bitcoin, $105,506. It's currently up 3.56% in the past 24 hours. ETH coming in at 3,595. It's up over 6%. And XRP coming in at a mean lean $2.38. It is up 4.57% as the total cryptocurrency market cap as a whole is up 2%, coming in at $3.49 trillion. Fear and greed sitting at a 24. People are still in the fear phase. Now, we're going to go over the XRP and Bitcoin charts next, and I want to show you where we are headed. Up first is Bitcoin. You can see this beautiful blue line on your screen. That is your 50-week EMA. We look at this chart, you can see we needed to get a close above we'll call it 102,000, right in that region. So the 50 EMA, this isn't just another moving average. This is your long-term momentum gauge. It's what the smart money uses to see whether the trend is truly flipping from its distribution phase to accumulation. Every single major bull cycle, when we look back, 2013, 2017, and 2020, they all started the same exact way. The 50 EMA crossover. Once that line's broken, price just doesn't drift higher. It absolutely explodes. And as you can see, we follow this 50 EMA. All your daily or all your bodily candles, and this is a weekly chart, your candles all close above this. You see some wicks under it. Those were liquidation events. Wicks don't count. We look for full body closures. Now, think about this. Every whale, every algorithm out there, every fund has alerts set for this level. When this flips, you start to see the capital rotation begin. You start seeing quiet accumulation. You see derivatives funding resets, and you see liquidity thickens under the price. It's the engine warm up before the liftoff. You are going to start to see your social media platform, whether it's your Twitter, TikTok, or Instagram. You're going to start to see this. We're in a bear market. You're going to start to see the shift of people who have been calling for a bear start turning over and flipping into bulls. And here's the kicker. It happened right as ETF inflows started to pick back up, and some of them started to hit record highs on the daily volume. They want you distracted by the headlines about volatility, about we're in a bear market, the government is still shut down. But this is how they accumulate before the vertical move to the upside. This isn't a coincidence. Now, when we move the 50 EMA and we throw in our oracle onto the chart, you can see as long as we're above the green, we are bullish on this thing. And we have a lot of room on this. And I've told you before, this region, which is about your 70, 72 to 74, give or take, if that breaks and the Bitcoin chart becomes bearish, you will see this flip red, but that is doomsday scenario. That is when you can officially see we are in a bear market. We are nowhere near that. If you can look, we are about 36% above that doomsday case. I like where the market's heading. Now for XRP, what are we looking at? There you go. You can see, and we can remove our little arrows that were playing out perfectly. XRP is sitting right above that 50 EMA. It's following the same exact structure that Bitcoin showed right before its last massive impulse. We just saw XRP reclaim this today. Remember, we were trading under. It sits around 235-ish. We were sitting on that early today, but now we are back above just in time for your weekly close. Typical for XRP, right? XRP always lags in media coverage, but you know what? It leads in narrative shifts. This setup looks identical to the pre-2020 hidden accumulation zone. Your volume's been building quietly, and you can literally see the market makers defending that EMA line like it's scared territory. Look at this. And we, since November of last year, so this time last year when XRP started that move up, when it was around 50 cents, and we had that 700% gain, we have always closed above this 50 EMA. This is the indicator you need so you can understand where this thing is going. Don't use it on a daily, use it on the weekly and the monthly charts. Every time that this thing has come back above the 50 EMA on the weekly, guess what? It has gone parabolic within weeks. You combine that with the ETF filings in the background, your central bank pilots, and with liquidity corridors firing up, this thing is not just bullish, it is programmed for takeoff. Tying the fact that the government's going to reopen, President Trump might be giving out $2,000 stimulus checks. You see where this thing's going? They're keeping the price asleep, folks, while the infrastructure locks in. The moment regulation clears or the ETF approval hits, that trap door, it opens. It busts open. Now we can look and drop in the Oracle on this one as well. You can see XRP doomsday case, about $1.74. It would need to close under. How far are we from that? Well, just like Bitcoin, we're about 37%. I like where this is sitting. Then we get this. A lot of people keep asking the question, and I saw this come in over here as well. If ETFs are so bullish, well, why isn't price going vertical yet? Let me explain this. You remember when Bitcoin ETFs launched? You remember what happened to the price? The price dumped on Bitcoin. And then people started kicking and screaming, ETFs suck. Why did we ever want ETFs? You know how quick people go from all about something to negative Nancy on it. And now we're seeing the same thing, talking about Solana. They're talking about, I'm getting people ready for XRP. What's going to happen when the ETF first comes out? Why does this happen? Simple. Because the institutions that knew they were coming, they front ran the news. Then they dumped it into retail FOMO once they went live. That's how Wall Street plays the game. They buy the rumor, they sell the headline, and then they rebuy the panic. The same pattern is playing out with Solana right now. Sol's ETFs are seeing monster inflows, but price hasn't caught up yet because smart money's still loading the boat. This is the calm before the breakout. It is how liquidity builds before the next wave. And when XRP ETF hits, and they're going to hit, we got, for the next 3 weeks moving forward, we got an ETF coming to life. It's game over. Now, I want you to be prepared for that same initial dip, though, right? And then weeks later, I want you to get ready for that boom when the chart is going to erupt. The ETF doesn't cause the pump immediately. It unlocks a pipeline of capital that keeps flowing for months. That is the stealth phase that we are seeing right now, which moves us over to this. Just as all of this is setting up on the technicals, we got some breaking news. Per Axios, a deal to end the U.S. government shutdown, it is finally taking shape. 10 Senate Democrats are ready to sign on, and Thune says the deal is coming together. Why does this matter? Simple, very simple. This shutdown has been one of the biggest macro anchors on risk assets. Once it's gone, your liquidity is going to loosen. Treasury yields calm down, and guess what? Your risk appetite returns. That is your fuel for crypto. Think about the timing here. Bitcoin just reclaimed the 50 EMA. XRP is doing the exact same. ETF inflows are priming the pumps. And now the macro environment, it's about to flip from fear to greed overnight. You couldn't script a better setup if you tried, folks. Here's the takeaway. The charts, the ETF, the politics, they are all converging. The same people who told you crypto's dead, they're quietly building the on-ramps. The same exact institutions that shorted Bitcoin at 16K are the ones now buying it through ETFs. And the same narrative that kept XRP suppressed is about to turn into the biggest told you so moment in markets history. Folks, we're not predicting the future here. We're front running it. Make sure you hit that thumbs up on your way out and subscribe to the channel. I'll see everyone bright and early on Monday morning.